What up, Whiskey Ginger fans? Welcome back to the show. Man, I can't sing. My voice is hoarse too because I've been on the road having some fun. I'm on the road, andrewsantino.com. Come see me this weekend right now as you're listening to this or watching this, whatever you're doing. I'm in Grand Rapids, then I'm in Philly. Grand Rapids on Friday, Philly on Saturday. Then I take a week off to be with my family in Chicago, dude. I'm excited. The road is going to get heavy into the new year. We added shows, added dates, Portland and Seattle, Atlanta, DC, Albany, Florida, going to be in San Diego, Phoenix for New Year's, and Chicago, February 5th at Chicago Theater. I'm so excited about all those dates. Go to andrewsantino.com for those tickets. Speaking of Chicago, my man Roy Wood Jr. is on the show today. Love this dude, a Chicago staple, a finest of Chicago. One of the guys, one of us, huh? He reps Chicago hard. I love this dude. We did this while I was in New York, doing the New York Comedy Festival when I played Town Hall. Thank you so much for coming out. That was incredible. And Roy Wood is the man. You must check out this dude's new special. He is so funny. I mean, everything he's put out to me is consistently hilarious, well thought out. He's a great dude and a hilarious comedian. Go see him. Come see me, andrewsantino.com for those tickets. Enough rambling from me. Let's go on to the episode.
In here, we pour whiskey, 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 whiskey.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that for all my guests, but I mean it once again today. It's Mr. Roy Wood Jr. Roy, thanks for coming.
I'm sorry we didn't get to hang out more when I lived in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like, it sucks when you leave LA and you go, oh, damn, that motherfucker was cool. He wasn't like all them other motherfuckers at the Comedy Store. Like, that was a different time for me.
It was.
Yeah, I was trying to get in at the store when it was more hurdles in place for certain comedians over others. We'll just leave it at that. And by the time they changed bookers and I was starting to get a little more love, I'd booked Daily Show. And it
was over.
Yeah, I got past at the store and then like left for New York. Like
well, when I
2
saw,
weeks
well,
later.
it's kind of funny how that works when people talk about like, it's kind of weird when someone's like an overnight success is these fake terms that people use. And you're like, you don't know how long they've been working on something. When you got the Daily Show, you were already an established comic, but in people's minds, they'd like to go, well, that's the thing that made him. And you're like, no, the 15 years before that is all the shit that made you.
A lot of shit to get
there.
To get
but when you took off and went to the Daily Show, I was happy because, I always like to see when somebody pops and gets on something and it works, it's always good, man. And you were, did you even like LA while you were there or no?
I didn't mind it. I still prefer LA to New York socially. I have friends here in New York, but everybody that I had like some real in the trenches bond with
was LA.
They're all in LA. Even the niggas I knew back down south before I moved to LA, they moved to LA. So when I got to LA, it was all my boys from fucking down south.
Right.
But I don't miss, I've gotten more done professionally in New York in 6 years than I did in the like 8 or 9.
Why do you think it is?
This city's a pressure cooker, bro.
Yeah.
LA gives you breathers and opportunities to lie to yourself and feel like, oh, I'm doing fine. Mm-hmm. And you're not. You're not. New York, you never feel okay.
Right.
Like even now, Daily Show, 5 years, still paranoid.
Are you really?
It does not leave me.
Do you think that do you mean paranoid as in like, I might get let go or this isn't going to continue?
This could all be taken away tomorrow. What? Shit happens. And I felt that pre-COVID. This isn't some after COVID. Sure. The world is different. No. Right. So as many hour specials as I can crank out, as fast as I can write the material, put that shit on TV, I need to make sure that, because that's our retirement plan. It's comics.
Right.
We're the only entertainers, man, where it doesn't matter how ugly we become or how damaged we become. Mm-hmm. The stage is redemption. And so you always have it to go back to.
Right.
So like everything we do now, man, is so that once you hit 55 and the industry spits you out, if you're not like writing and producing,
I
have the road.
Yeah.
So
true.
that's kind of like where I sit. Like, I don't know if that's healthy, but it's productive.
I think it's, well, I mean, as a comic, like I did, like I came in to do that town hall. I did a gig for New York Comedy Festival and I did town hall. And it's so funny. All the other bullshit around doing stand up and all the strife and all that shit. And then it disappears for the hour and whatever that you're on stage. And it all comes back. And even backstage, one of the guys was like, I've never seen you live. That was great. And I was like, yeah, thanks. He's like, what's that like when it's over? It's like, well, now I'm thinking about the next thing immediately. Like I'm thinking immediately like, well, what's the next gig? What's the next thing? How do I make this better? How do I make that stronger? But I think that's why when you say it's not healthy, I think maybe it is, because if there is this, like, if you have a propensity to go, well, they can jack this from me at any minute, I think it keeps you fresh. When you get complacent, I think is when it's scary.
Yeah.
Because you see guys get complacent.
I think the best thing that happened to me in LA was meeting Steve Byrne.
I love Steve Byrne.
Steve, for what we did for 3 years on TBS, it wasn't, knowing what I know now, it was an opportunity to be a part of a huge cast on Sullivan and Son.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I got to watch like veteran actors every day. Like there were days where I only had like 60-page script. I have 3 pages.
Right.
So for the other 50 pages, I'm just at the bar pretending to drink beer and just watching fucking Brian Doyle and Christine Ebersol and Dan Laurie. It was just acting school. I was just watching. And that shit was fucking great. And Byrne, we would get done with that whole season. We would shoot that whole season. And then we would go on the road for 3 months and do gigs in cities.
Together.
Yeah. The stand-ups on the cast. So we'll go out together and just fucking tour for 3 months. And knowing what I know now, oh shit, that man had to write the show for 3 months, tape it for 3 months, and then he toured for 3-4 months. And then he's still a father and a husband and 2 kids at the house.
Yeah.
And now as I'm trying to develop shows, I'm like, holy shit. And then you realize the battles that Byrne fought for particular people to be on the show, because he knew these people would be right. And Byrne, it took getting to New York and getting to another plateau and looking back and going, God damn, the arguments he had to have to get certain shit done.
Yeah.
And then still go out and be a strong ass fucking comic on the road.
Right. That's the balance. And this is, you're going to think I'm placating, but truthfully, when I was watching your special, which is fucking great, by the way, honestly, it's very, very good. Very well done. Your jokes are fucking phenomenal. I was like, how is he finding this fucking time with all the shit that you've got going on to pump out so much new stuff? And I guess you're just a grind machine.
I would rather do it all while I have the opportunity, because you just don't know, man. And that's the shit that, it kind of fucks with me, but like that's the one thing that LA taught me, was that you can bang on the door. Like the Sullivan and Son show, that was the only thing I booked.
Yeah.
8 years in LA.
Did you went out for a lot of other shit and it never happened?
Out for shit on a regular.
Yeah.
Only thing I booked was a show with my friend was the creator, EP, and star, and even still had to fight to get me in. So when you've lived through a drought, when it is fucking time to harvest, motherfucker, harvest.
Yeah, yeah.
So you did an hour special, great. You got another one, and make sure the jokes are tight and that they're good. But it took someone else pointing it out. This is my 3rd hour special in 6 years. And just
it's fucking huge.
2 years a clip. I'm happy with that. That, I'm very pleased with that. So you just have to find, what I've learned though, is how to refine the process. And this is where I think COVID kind of helped out a little bit, is that because I didn't have as much time to do this special, because I really wanted to hurry up and get this one done before the end of the year. All right, well then develop the material in places where the audience understands it's new material. So I set up my own new joke night or whatever, where it's understood. Me and everyone that's coming up tonight, we don't know how the fuck this is gonna go.
Right.
But to be able to sit in a 40-minute performance and the audience know that it's all test kitchen shit, it just, I don't know, it got the jokes stronger, faster. And then I also have an audience, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but they'll give me feedback after the show. And
It's on you if you like it. I don't know.
But it's not. Here's where it's funny, but it's stress testing the theory. So I had a bit in this new special, Imperfect Messenger, if you can.
Yeah, Imperfect Messenger is a special. It's phenomenal. It's online right now.
I have this bit about there's this thing, I don't know what y'all discuss in y'all circles, but in the black circles, black British actors playing famous African Americans and whatever, back and forth about that. So I'm doing jokes about that, and then I had a black actor that was at one of the shows who's worked on set with some black Brits, and he's going, "Hey man, just so you know, some of them motherfuckers be disrespectful," and he's like breaking down his experience.
Oh shit!
And it gave me some balance, so it helped me to balance the joke because I'm not trying to come across as pro or anti. It's just here's the argument. Here's Roy's weird perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Right.
And he's going, your shit is skewed because you did not know this fact. So let me add this fact into your life. So for me, I like that. Now, I don't want someone coming up and going, what you should have said.
Yeah.
Like that, shut the fuck up. But the intellectuals know how to say it in a way.
In the right way.
Yeah.
Where'd you run the show? Where were you doing the new night?
I just got a room.
You just got a room.
Yeah, just so weird. This other thing I found. When you take comedy out of the comedy clubs and put it in weird places, it is received in a different way.
Yeah, totally.
When you look at a lot of the unruly fuckery that happens in comedy club. Most recently, my man Afion Crockett got ran up on.
I saw
on a
that
show.
online.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that was the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a Comedy Zone. I didn't know where it was, but yeah, I saw that.
I only know it because the way the stage was set and then also the UV lighting. I started in Tallahassee, so that was like my regular.
Okay, so you knew.
Certain rooms, you just know the angles. And I'm like, that's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's also very Jacksonville behavior of that woman. So like when you put comedy in a comedy club, there's a different mindset. And whereas I found, like, we found a space, like just some shit like this. It was it's a space. It was like one of them was a flower shop. The other one was just like some random like soundstage studio. And we're just like, hey, we're just gonna put out some folding chairs. And hey, it looks and feels different. So from the moment you enter the room, it just, I can't explain it, but it just skewed how people viewed it.
No, I know what you mean, because they're bringing a different thought to the whole thing. Anyway, like I do. There's there's shows in LA that are like that. There's one. Did you ever go to El Cid? Do you know El Cid?
That's the Mexican restaurant.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who's hosting it now, but
there's a million different people now. Post COVID has changed everything.
There were some guys pre-COVID. There were some pieces of shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now it's like there's 4 different promoters that run the same room.
Let's see Vern tell you that story. Yeah, El Cid was fun. The people who booked the night that I was on they weren't cool.
No.
There's a backyard. Is it Rivers Langley? Does Rivers still have? There's a couple of backyard shows that y'all having so.
Well, I mean, there were so many shows that popped up over the pandemic that became yard party house shows. There was one where this dude, it was like a jungle. He found some dude that had like trees and a tree house built, and I did that, and I did so many outdoor, and then now back inside.
Did you do the one with the peacock? That was like living in the backyard and just walking around and shit. There's a motherfucker that has a living peacock.
It was just wandering around.
I'm like, this feels dangerous.
It's too much.
It's like he's close to the ostrich. An ostrich will fuck you up like this. I don't believe you have the homeowner's insurance required to have 90 drunk people around a peacock.
Right.
But it's a great show. So, you put comedy in weird places, it changes how it's received. And so for my audience, it's like, oh, well, I can make these jokes stronger, faster, and then immediately go out on the road for 3 days and then bring it back and then deliberately put. Do you have cities? I've always wanted to ask other comics this. Do you have specific cities that you work as you're stress testing your hour? And like, not necessarily an order, but I got to do the jokes here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got to know.
Well, because I know the response is either like really picky, like really, really picky, or I know that they're open for me to try a weird angle on something. Like I love Boston. I've always loved Boston, and I always feel like I can try more there. And they won't. It's not like they'll let you get away with it, but they're more apt to just hearing me say it and being along for the ride. You know what I mean? Versus some cities, I feel like I have to be much tighter. Where I'm like, they don't want me to fuck around. They're like, give me this jokes. Give me the exact jokes that I want to hear. And plan it out perfectly. I feel like San Francisco was very tight in the way of like, they just wanted exactly a performance from front to back.
I like San Francisco to test the thesis, to make sure you're with me on the actual ideology of the joke.
Yeah.
And then I'll go somewhere like Peoria just for the punchlines. Because they don't care about any wokey. We don't care about your opinion.
Yeah.
Just make it funny.
Yeah, I want to hear it funny.
Make it funny. I don't care if it's the thing that I've always been thinking or that I've been blogging about. Fuck all that. Is it funny? So if you have the police reform joke that is touching on like the traditional, well, here's what I think the police should be doing. Fine. Make it funny.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you because this is Peoria.
Right.
And a lot of us are blue lives fucking trumping. But that's where the joke has to fucking like...
It has to work there.
It has to work there.
Yeah.
And then I take it to Atlanta. Those are like the two cities I go to the month before I tape is Peoria and Atlanta. Because Atlanta is the black side of the joke where, okay, let me make sure I'm still honoring the right part of let me make sure I'm not being too pro-British or too pro-cop or what's the theme that I'm trying to say underneath the joke.
Right.
Because it's the joke is the joke, but is there some deeper point that you can make? Is there something else you could be saying underneath that?
Right.
And that's where I go, because that audience gives a fuck, because that's who I'm representing on stage. So they give a fuck about that. Like, that shit was funny, but what I really appreciated is when you brought up the thing about the history books and the need for civil rights movies because history books are being removed from the classroom. Like, there's an appreciation for a point you made beyond the punchline.
Right.
So that's where I go for that. But yeah, it's just working the hour. Once you have a system in place and you know what you want to do, then I think it's easier. I know I'm going to take some time before doing a fourth. I've been talking to Birbiglia and Neil Brennan about maybe a one-person show or something like that.
Yeah, because Neil's doing his right now, right?
Yeah, it's his second. You can call say Three Mics wasn't a one-person show, but it was. It was intimate.
Yeah.
You know, they promoted it as a stand-up. Netflix was stand-up. Like, yeah, but
it was a one-man show.
Yeah,
because it was so involved and very personal, and a lot of it was very like it was deep and very heavy message driven. And I wouldn't say it wasn't funny; it was very funny, but it also had a lot of depth to it. I think the one-man show difference is like I'm giving you some real deep personal shit, and you may not like it, but there is humor right beneath it.
Yeah, I think Hassan Minaj toes that line now too. I've gotten a chance to watch his new hour. It's not like public yet or whatever, but he's working it on the road, and it's definitely a lot deeper than what he did that first time around with Netflix.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind toying in that. I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And like I have a couple of ideas, but then it's also family shit, and I've never talked about my family. My comedy's always what's happening out there. It's never what's happening. But to grow and to get stronger, you've got to fucking, try and fight southpaw. Let's just see if you can.
Yeah, switch it up. Switch the stance. Well, I feel because there's a lot of comics, look, that's like, I don't know if that was Seinfeldian, that this whole like, you don't need to talk about yourself, and like, I think it was him that was talking about when comics go too much in and too about themselves, it like loses this broad jovialness or whatever. And I've always kind of shit on me and my family, and I've always kind of talked a lot about me. But it's funny that you say that. I want to do the opposite a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, I want to get away from talking about me or whatever this issue that I'm having and get more into the outside issues that are easier and more broad or consumable because everyone understands it. Versus me giving you a little tiny slice of my life and starting out with a joke about me and then I hope they like this weird experience that I've had, whatever trauma. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
it gets tricky, man.
I think to me, they're one and the same. Like, it's all, there's a degree of journalism within stand-up where you're telling a story or you're being relatable based on a shared experience we've all had in the world together. The mask and wearing a mask. or it's the inward journey of I caught COVID and thought I was going to die. Here's the things I did that week. And that's relatable to somebody in the audience, or the feeling of death and inevitability, as told within my own experience, should help connect you to yours somehow. So to me, I don't know, man, that shit's all the same. I just know that the stuff that interests me, that's the hard part when you go inward, is that how do you get someone to be interested in the thing that is inside of you versus, hey, motherfuckers, mass shootings. Y'all scared? I'm scared. Like, of course, we're all...
Right.
That's a thought collectively we've all had versus... I know the name of the slave masters who owned my ancestors, and I know where their descendants live in Georgia, and I want to go find them and see what the fuck they're up to.
That's real?
That's real. That is a true statement.
How do you know? How did you do that?
So, how the fuck do you build that into, like, that ain't something you can step in for 10 minutes and then segue into, my kid's 4, he rides a bike. No, you got to stay in the slavery pocket for a while.
Right, for a little while.
Without it being too slavery-ish to turn off the Peoria motherfucker who needs to hear it too.
Right.
And that's the trick, is getting it to a place where people who don't want to hear it, you're like, tricked you, bitch. Now you just learned something about the fucking black journey.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Hey, I've spoken on this podcast pretty consistently about Squarespace. I really do love Squarespace. I used it to create my own site, and I'm a stupid person. And it was easy for me. So if you're dumb like me, come on, you got to use it. Squarespace is incredible. They really do help you create something, to showcase your work, to sell, to blog, to publish. I use it to for our merch and our touring, and also for my own personal website, which is, my OnlyFans. No, but it's incredible. You can sell products online of all different varieties. And the best part is everything is optimized right out of the box. They help you build a site out the way that you want to build it. They have beautiful templates, or you can do it your own, okay? Go rogue. Use the road less traveled. But I had to use what they gave me because they got 24/7 award-winning customer support. There's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. It's the simplest way to build a website online. The built-in search engine optimization, and you can quickly understand your audience and all that stuff with analytics, including page views and traffic sources and time on the site and all that stuff to try to trap the people that you want to trap. Don't leave the site. Buy something and come back. Squarespace is incredible, whether you're an architect or a jewelry designer, clothing designer, fashion, you blog, you want to rant, whatever you got to do, whatever you want to do, Squarespace is the best. Go to squarespace.com/whiskey for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the offer code whiskey to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace.com/whiskey. Squarespace.com/whiskey. Hey, everybody gets intimate, okay? When you're hooking up with your significant other or just a friend or an F-buddy or whatever you got going on, you need to be ready. You need to be Roman ready. You got to have that rocket ready to go. You can't be low on fuel. Roman is incredible because so many people experience ED. Look, it's a real thing. A lot of guys can't get the blood flow down there. There's nothing embarrassing about that. It's a common thing. Life is hard. Whether you've been in a relationship for years or you're just getting started, you want to be ready when the moment arrives. And ED is super common. 52% of guys aged 40 to 70 experience some form of erectile dysfunction. Come on, man. That's a lot of dudes out there. So you're out there, you're listening. Don't be ashamed. It's incredible. The system is completely confidential and totally discreet, which I love, man. You can go online. A licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment. And if they think it's appropriate, it ships to you free in 2 days. Come on, man. So set that date for a couple of days, and then you'll get the Roman in the mail and take care of it. Just go to getroman.com/whiskey and complete an online visit. Take care of that ED without leaving the comfort of your own home. All right? Go to getroman.com/whiskey today. And if you're prescribed, get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Pretty good. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this fall. Roman ready.
Ginger. I like gingers.
No, I did Finding Your Roots, man. And fucking Henry Louis Gates, dog, tracked down all that shit. Track my whole lineage back to the slave ships, which is rare in and of itself. But then to also have the documentation of the white family who enslaved and owned us, like. And then I got a message on Facebook from the neighbor of the daughter of that motherfucker. So,
Jesus Christ.
So I could find you. I could find you right now. But here's the wild shit. The wild shit is that all of my great greats and great whatevers were all owned by white people who could only afford 3 or 4 slaves. Because when you think
They
about
were on a budget. They had a slave budget. Yeah. We have a tight slave budget.
Broke bitches. Because the way slavery is shown, it's the big Amazon factory of workers. Right. But there were also a lot of majority of enslavement was just people working for a family of 4 or 5. Like, it wasn't a lot of you. So few people that the enslaved were they were handed down by generation. One would have a kid, they wouldn't even sell them. They go, good, we got another one. Thanks. Jesus. We'll keep you too. So the idea of, if you had that information, what the fuck would you do with it? You can't sit on it.
I mean, my instinct.
I'm not going to go fight them or nothing.
No, but I want to see you talk to them bad.
But say what? And that's the thing. I don't even know if I want to talk. Like, first, I just need to observe you. I need to drive to rural Georgia where you are and just, you own a coffee shop. I just want to come in your coffee shop every day for a week. And
just feel it.
Just feel it.
But that's what I mean. I guess I'm saying I don't want you to talk to them in the sense of like sit down and have a very formal interview with them. But I do want you to, I think it would be wild to watch. Look, you talk about this in your special. I don't want to step on anything in your special at all.
No, it's fine.
You talk also about how so much of our present day is a product of our history, whether we know it or not, right? And so with them, whether they know it or not, they may act this type of way because of their history. Whether they know it or not, it's kind of an interesting thing to feel out comedically how these people act around black people if they do know their own history.
Correct.
You know, so what like how does that change how they operate? You know?
And there is jokes and there's something to learn within that journey.
Right.
There's
something.
It's something.
It's there.
I don't know what.
I know.
There's something, and that's more interesting than doing another hour special about whatever the fuck just happened since the last hour special. Right. For me.
Right.
I've done that 3 times.
Yeah.
Change up the stance.
Yeah. I want to see you see these people so bad.
That's a long fucking road, bro. That it would take a year of just going out, like on some Chris Rock, go live your life and then come back years later type shit.
Yeah.
Because I got to find them. I got to fucking go interact with them. If they still live in the county I think they live in, I know they broke. Ain't no rich motherfuckers. Your family enslaved people and y'all still broke. Like, you fucking fucked up the hustle.
It didn't work. Yeah, you fucked up bad. Yeah, you sold the wrong shit.
Yeah, anyway, people got broke off like that's how cold corporations are. Only the corporations got rich in the end off enslavement.
That's true, though. But also the idea for me always was, I always thought the only people that were slave owners were super wealthy, rich families.
I own acres and acres. No.
Yeah, I thought it was like these conglomerate mega families who were like, we married the Buckwalters and we got 4 slaves from there. You know what I mean? That whole fucking thing. No, they were broke slave owners.
Broke ass, I could afford one. And you still bought them just so you could still feel better.
Feel good, yeah.
Imagine being a white person who couldn't afford a slave.
Yeah.
How bad was your fucking life? How fumbled did your fucking fit?
But imagine them talking about it at dinner. They're like, we're living beyond our means. We can't afford him. This is, I don't know what, like, it's like
lay off a slave.
You know what it's like? It's like, when somebody makes like $35,000 a year and they spend $35,000 on a car. Do you know what I mean? You know that guy? It's like, that's what it is. But they're like, we need this slave.
You bought a slave before you bought a house. Motherfucker, that ain't how you live life. Like, you got an apartment with a Benz, that type of shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They have a Benz in a 1-bed, 1-bath. That's the same.
But this shit right here, like, this is funny preamble.
Yes.
To get into something deeper. So I don't know, man. That's kind of what I want to do. I know that the more I look at that, I know that that's not the type of stuff I could do on Comedy Central. So I don't even know where you put that.
That's tough. I mean, we talked a little bit before. You don't want to put it on there because you know it'll be hard to put on the platform?
No, not with that. Like, when you look at Comedy Central as a brand, if I haven't learned anything else as well over my time in New York, you learn a lot about how TV stations work and just how they view themselves. And so, you know, this is a barbecue restaurant, and my job as an employee of the barbecue restaurant is to help serve the barbecue. And if I have an idea or a recipe for some barbecue that I think the customers would love, I can take that to the chef and we make some new Roy's Imperfect Messenger barbecue and serve that. Whereas if you come up with something that's some, this is fucking Korean fusion, fucking Indian, Jamaican, like it's something that is not barbecue. It's food.
Yeah. It's good food.
But this is not the food we serve.
Right.
So it's, hey, can we do a special menu for this day? Or can we do it somewhere? But I mean, this will be years from now once I have that together. That's the wild thing. I hosted this Critics' Choice Documentary Awards thing the other night, and they were giving awards to documentaries that were shown on networks that didn't even exist when the documentary first started being filmed.
Oh, shit.
The doc people just went out and shot their shit. Like Questlove won a bunch of awards, and he started doing this doc like 10, 15 years ago, and it's on Hulu. Like, streaming was barely a fucking thing.
Didn't exist.
We're still rocking DVDs.
Right.
I'm sure Questlove was thinking, this is going to be a good DVD. I'm going to kill him. So I just think you worry about the art form first and then figure out where to put it. Yeah, where it goes later. Like, I've appreciated, because the other thing with Comedy Central is that when we talk about the 15, 16 years leading up before I got Daily Show, nobody was fucking with me. Like, Conan O'Brien, I can say unequivocally, is the only person that fuck with me. Conan, the Bob and Tom Show. If we're just talking just television and just regular exposure. And Tom Joyner and Ricky Smiley's in urban radio, but if we're talking strictly television, dog, year after year, Conan. I'd done Letterman, I'd done all the shit, but there was a 4 or 5 year stretch for me in LA where my only television appearance every year was Conan O'Brien. And that single television appearance was enough to get me booked at the next college conference, which got me enough money to get another year in LA.
Right.
Which got me another Conan, which got me another conference, which got me another year in LA. So when I got to Comedy Central, they're like, oh, let's do an hour. I'm like, yeah. Because nobody else is fucking with me.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that half the jokes I did in that first hour, those are the same jokes I was submitting to other networks before I got Daily Show.
And they were like, no.
Verbatim.
Yeah, same shit.
Because your first special is just your catalog. It's the best of your catalog.
Yeah.
Plus, here's 35 minutes of where I am now.
Right.
Here's a little sprinkle of who I can't let this joke go. I wrote it in 2004. It's solid.
You need to hear it.
But also now, here's a joke from now. So people weren't fucking with me, man. So yeah, I'll do a special with fucking Comedy Central. It's fine. I think what's happening now, though, with streaming and the difficult thing, just at Paramount and Viacom as a whole, is just as they're starting to transition into part network, part provider, of like part producer content. Like, they moved a bunch of shows. They moved other two to HBO Max, and they moved Southside over. Like, they did the merger. They pretty much canceled everything scripted except for Aquafina. So they just creatively...
Southside? Do I know what that is?
Southside, it's a show set in Chicago.
Yeah,
two guys rent to own. They run a rent to own company, and just their regular fucking shenanigans.
Who is it? Do you know who they are?
They are Diallo Riddle and the other brother's name is slipping my mind. Brashear. They're the stars and co-creators. And so the show, to me, in a way, this is a terrible analogy, but it's like this beautiful fucking alt-universe Atlanta / niggified Broad City where it's two guys and their adventures within the city and just a super specific slice. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Southside's fucking hilarious show.
See, this is my problem. I don't hear it. How do I not hear about this at all? That's the issue that I have a lot of times with these markets now is I'm like, how come I don't know that? Like, I want to be able to...
for Diallo and them, man. Because, they started out on Comedy Central. They're on HBO Max now, but the network had a full creative molting in the last year. And so, we have Paramount Plus now. I guess, like, if you look at my special, right? It's free to watch now on the Comedy Central website and the Comedy Central app. But it's not going to Paramount Plus for another couple months. And that's because Comedy Central as a network still has obligations to the cable providers. domestically and internationally to make sure that the content is available within the on-demand windows and all of that stuff. So you're still beholden to the linear model to a degree.
Yeah.
But also, you have Paramount Plus and it'll be there. But when I go, hey, my special is out, and people go, oh, I checked Netflix. Bitch, it's not on fucking, it's not there. It's like
the first thing they always say.
Netflix is the new Xerox or.
Right. It's Q-tip.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's a swab. It's a cotton swab. No, it's Q-tips. They're all Q-tips. Like, no.
But what's interesting about that is people will watch your special, right? They'll love your special and they'll say to you, dude, I loved your Netflix special. It was so good.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that to people where I'm like, well, and you don't correct them because you're like, whatever, man, they saw it. Because they'll tell you, they'll go, I've seen people say that to friends and be like, dude, I saw I was with, maybe someone said it to Sam Morrell, and he put his out on YouTube.
Yeah, Sam Shazal.
And they were like, your Netflix special was so fucking, because saying special means Netflix. Correct. Like, I think they learned that it's like, if it's a comedy special, it was a Netflix did it, right? And you're like, well, it was on YouTube. And they're like, yeah, but Netflix put it on YouTube. And you're like, no, it doesn't matter. Did you watch it? You liked it? Fine. That's how I feel about a lot of shit where I'm like, if you liked it, great. I'm glad you watched it because I also that's a hard time for me I don't know how to find this stuff anymore. I'm like hoping it just comes down my pipeline. Like when we shot Dave for FX, thank God FX got bought and Hulu acquired. All of our views came off Hulu. All of our views. Like, I think people watch FX, like 100,000 people watch FX. Nobody saw it live.
That was the case with the Daily Show for a minute when they were getting ready to do Paramount Plus. We were on Hulu for the longest and killing it on Hulu.
Yeah.
And then when Viacom was like, no, bitch, come on over to Paramount Plus. Because you need the anchor show to draw people over. But yeah, the thing is just when you're making television with a cable network versus a streamer, it's just a different distribution. The product is just chopped up and put out there differently. And so, as a comic, you want the instant gratification. I want everyone to say, Like, no, it was live. If you missed it, I'm sorry. Okay, now it's on ComedyCentral.com. You can stream it there for free and watch it. And then now, after all of that, now you can go to Paramount Plus and stream it on the app. And I get it. I get it from a business standpoint for them, because that's their fucking obligation. But, I'm just a chef in a barbecue restaurant. I want everybody to get the food as quickly as fucking possible. But that's just how it has to fucking be done, as opposed to the alternative of not having shit on because no one else was fucking with me. Right. And then Conan just got canceled, so I wouldn't even be on Conan anymore. Or Conan ended his show, let me put it that way. So I wish that there was a way for cable companies to be able to disperse their content at the same rate at which as their competitors do. And I think that's part of where cable is losing a little bit is because viewing habits have changed. People are much more instantaneous. They want things a lot faster now. And that's because the streaming sites are putting pressure on viewing habits that don't necessarily match the way the cable product has been dispersed over the last 30, 40 years. Right. And I think that's probably one of the more frustrating things just in general about television, Like, I mean, you brought up Sam. I'm sure Sam did all of that because he was like, fuck all of y'all. Fuck the politics of streaming and cable. I'm just going to put it out DTC, or... Schultz, Andrew Schultz is a great example as well.
Yeah, he's gone his own way.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of different avenues. Do you think, in the bigger scheme of things, I was thinking about this as well for like changing up stand-up a little bit. Do you think the concept of an hour special in and of itself is still special? In terms of getting eyeballs, in terms of let me scale it back. You get the hour special to get the views, to get people to come see you live. That was the original inception of you would do the Tonight Show, and then you would sell out every road date for the next year and a half because Jay Leno gave you the fucking anointment.
Little nod, yeah.
And then the hour special did that, and the hour special would give you the momentum to get into a tour. I wonder if you benefit from an hour or if you benefit from putting out 10 minutes a month.
That's what I'm debating with right now. So I don't have much out. And it's so funny that I've learned that I grew my audience from TV stuff and doing this and doing my other podcast. And I was like, this was the best way for me to grow my audience because, I got turned down by a bunch of different places. And that was my fuck it. Was like, okay, well, I'll just focus on making comedy on podcasts and on television and anywhere I can get my comedy out where it's not necessarily my stand-up, but then you're like, you have to come see me. And I have so many fucking people that come up to me and go, I've never been to a stand-up show. And I can't wait to dive in stand-up. And now they'll go, I saw Roy on your show. I'm going to his show. It's like, I'm not sucking my own dick, but I feel great about introducing more people to the world. I want more comedy fans.
You found your audience.
Yeah.
You found
I love
people.
it. I fucking love it. Cause then I can go, look at how funny this dude is. Look at how funny this chick is. And then they go, fuck, then they really get involved and
People
engaged.
trust you.
Yes.
I can trust you.
Yes.
Dude, there's this, is there something different though, I guess? How do you feel going fuck it, right? And then you book 2 solid fucking series back to back, which one I feel like Showtime kind of fumbled. They shouldn't have fucking it.
Well, we had.
That
was tough.
That's a separate conversation.
Yeah.
But you go back to back on, and of course, millions of auditions to book 2 things. But does that feel like, hindrance isn't the word, but how can I put it? You finally got the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And then the industry goes, wait, not yet. Hey, come on back over here. We we have a great artistic show.
Right.
A guy named Lil Dicky. Would you mind setting aside 3 months of everything that you had already set up for yourself? And
it is hard.
Just come do this real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you. I know you worked hard at that. I know you took a break from a lot of your stand up for the Showtime thing, and that was great. That's why we called you and loved you in that. Would you mind taking a break and coming over here real quick? And you're like, fuck me.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Hey, making content is essential a part of my business, and you know that. It's what keeps these shows moving on the internet. And the stuff that we do, I can tell you, I use this product, CANVA PRO. CANVA PRO is incredible. You can design anything like a pro on any device, no matter where you are or what you're doing or what you're using. It's pretty remarkable, man. We use CANVA PRO to create some of the ads and some of the promo stuff that we're doing for this show. It's a design platform that empowers you to create and share stunning content in just a few clicks. It's super easy to use. It's amazingly fast and fun. And if you're working with a team of people, the best part is you can share it amongst each other, which I think is very, very cool because we have graphic designers on the show. We have editors. We have people that help with sound. And on all of our shows, it's really imperative to work seamlessly with a team. CANVA PRO does that pretty remarkably. It's never been easier to share and comment in real time and keep each other on the same project. Plus, you and your teammates can unlock everything CANVA PRO has to offer for $12.99 a month. That's pretty cheap if you're running a little business. Or if you're just a solo person and you're working with other people, independent contractors. But they got this content planner. You'll save on planning, creating, and posting social media content too, which is great. It kind of streamlines everything into one location. It's pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. I've designed with this. My favorite feature was designing sharing some of the edits where we could put in some sound clips, and I could have one of our editors and our graphic designers make something digital that moves because I don't know how to do that because I'm a stupid person. So if you want to design like a pro, you got to do it right now with CANVA PRO. You can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use my promo code. Just go to canva.me/whiskey to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's Canva, canva.me/whiskey. Canva.me/whiskey. Hey, I spoke pretty openly on the show multiple times about this EMBER. This is incredible. This is the travel mug that I love so much. I also have the coffee cup at the house, but I love this because I'm always on the go and I'm always drizanking that kazaufi. EMBER is super impressive. This thing is incredible. There's an on button on the bottom, and that's little heated coils on the bottom that keep your coffee at an optimized temperature. 135 is what I prefer. 135 to 137, depending on how cold it is in the morning. You can download the EMBER app, and you can help control the temperature of it with your phone. Come on! It's a little pricey, but let me tell you something. It's worth the money. A few people were like, oh, that's kind of expensive for a coffee cup. Yeah, because coffee mugs just break and you throw them away, you lose them or they stain. These things are durable, long-lasting, and they're incredible, okay? It's a great gift for the holidays. If you got a couple extra bucks to spend on some new technology, if you like toys like me, this is incredible. It's the world's first temperature control mug that keeps your coffee or tea hot until the very last sip. Literally, it's steaming on the last sip. The Ember app can notify you when it's ready. It's long-lasting, built-in battery. You can sip your coffee in any room of your house or on the go without it getting cold. I'm telling you, it's the must-have gift this holiday season for every coffee and tea drinker on your list. Head to ember.com/whiskey for 10% off your first-time purchase. This is the best deal you're going to find on these products this season. Make sure to order early. That's ember.com/whiskey.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Fucking work.
It's hard because it is work. It's a lot of work. And TV and film and all that is, people have no idea. And it's like champagne problems to bitch to people at home about TV work, but it removes you from life because you're like 7 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. every day. When you get home, I'm lucky I don't have kids. I don't know how a lot of people do it. You're exhausted. And then so thinking about writing a joke or going to do a set, I would try. It's a fucking nightmare. I'm falling apart on stage at night. I would go to the store and just be exhausted and not want to do it. And it does, it becomes a compromise of your comedic output for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
That's what I meant.
It does. It becomes this, what's more important. But then I just think there's enough time in my life to do both. And if I have to chunk away some stuff, I'll just do that. I mean, I it is what it is. And also, as long as I'm at a point right now where as long as what I'm doing, and I feel you're probably at a similar point in your life and your career where as long as I really am enjoying it, I will still do it. But I'm at a point where if I don't want to do it, I'm definitely not going to fucking do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one cool thing about The Daily Show is that there's enough ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like high tide, low tide in the building where there might be a month where you're just fucking gone a lot. And then there's a 2-month stretch where everything you're doing is in studio.
Yeah.
So it's fucking great. And there's no science to it. It's just, that's just what the job is. It's just sometimes shit happens. Sometimes ain't shit happening.
Right.
And so when ain't shit happening, you can sneak out in the clubs and get your sets in and kind of get your reps in or whatever. It's just when I think about just the concept of live performance and getting people out, I just think they have to see you. And I think ultimately, I feel like we're approaching a place where it doesn't matter where they saw you or for how long.
Right.
And you want an hour special because that's just,
it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. So yes, we'll happily take an hour special. But I feel like there has to be something that stand-ups are doing to supplement the time between those two specials. And I think that's the quick hit shit that, like I find myself now in a perfect world, if there was something you wanted to tweet, but there was a way to get it on stage and get it online within 24 hours, even if it's just a 30-second clip,
right?
That is more valuable to me than a viral tweet just for the sake of branding.
At this right now, culturally, I think, yes. I think right now. And who knows what the next turn is, but right now, that seems to be the best way to grab, capture, and then keep someone's attention and then grow into fanship. I mean, you really have to, it's like a nurturing thing. It's the same thing as when somebody, when you first started touring and agents or managers or whoever were like, you're building in the market. I used to hear that all, you're building in the market. And you knew, you were like, what does that even fucking mean? They're all blacked out. They got in here for free.
But next time you come, he's going to bring 2 more people.
Who are also blacked out and got in for free.
And then run up on you on the stage like they did Afion.
So they give you those, but then you learn on your own. You're like, I have to find a way to build my own market and build my own chunk of fans and fanship and grow it because it's not as easy as the old way used to be, which was just do the Tonight Show with Carson, tour the fucking world, get a TV deal. That Richard Lewis generation, that's gone. That nobody goes to JFL and gets $1 million check.
Kevin James was probably the last one.
Right. To get
if
that
I'm not
thing.
mistaken. To do the late night and then get the show. Like,
all of it.
No one's getting the Michael Roof chicken deals anymore. For the people who don't know, there was a comic, Michael Roof, who went to JFL, which is it's basically the NFL Combine.
Yeah, it is a combine. Yeah, they're drafting you.
Yeah, you go and be amazing, and then a network fucking likes you and gives you money. And he did so well at JFL that they gave him money. The story is that they gave him money to leave town because they didn't want anyone to poach him. The WB, It was the first year of the WB network.
Get the fuck out of here and don't come back.
Don't come back. We've signed you. You're now getting a sketch show on WB. Thank you. Please leave town.
Right.
Like,
Insane.
that's how crushed. That's how fucking much he crushed, man. So those days are over with. Nobody's fucking doing that. It's not that I don't think that there's a lack of luster on the hour special. I just think that attention spans are so divided in so many different places that it's a multifaceted attack at this point. You know,
you have to have an army. It used to be you could go in shooting as a single shooter. Now it's like, well, you have to have backup for sure.
Yeah, but there's so much, because there's more platforms, you have to be more educated on the best approaches to these platforms and know where your audience is. And SEO, like my advice to any comedian right now is to learn social media metrics. Learn that shit.
Yeah.
That shit will help you the way web design helped me in 98. Where
your own website and all that shit.
Because I can't afford to pay some fuck to build me a website. And at the time, you needed a website, kid. People gotta find you. So I fucking learned that. Then I learned a little bit. I knew a little bit of graphic design from college, but that was the other thing. You gotta make a flyer. You gotta make a flyer. So yeah, I just think that there's more to all of this shit now. And that's the thing that I'm finally just going, all right, let me learn some of this other shit. Because that's the other thing with TV, if you're not careful, that shit'll make you complacent. It'll make you lazy. It'll make you out of touch with what's happening in the streets. And then your show ends whenever it ends, because all shows end except for Law and Order. So unless you're on Law and Order, you're in danger.
Unless you're Ice-T, everybody else is fucked.
Well, Chicago Fire's going 10 seasons, so maybe they're safe.
And then if you get off that, they'll put you on Med or PD or fucking whatever bullshit. He's got 9 different shows on it. My cousin just moved to LA from Chicago, and he works in production on the other side, not on camera. And we were talking about that. He's like, Dick Wolf runs Chicago. Runs Chicago. And he wants all his shows there. And he wants to keep making Chicago version shows. And I was like, I wish there was some other shit coming out of Chicago than just fucking procedural cop shows and firefighter shows. By the way, I love the C on the hat.
Oh, dude, I'm
a big Cubs fan.
It's the lovely Mother's Day edition.
Yeah, I like it.
Dust this one off. I was trying to do something similar in Birmingham. Dick Wolf and Tyler Perry, like they just run their respective cities.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Perry just bought half of Atlanta. Like,
he owns
this is my studio now.
Yeah.
It's Tyler Perry, Delta Airlines, and the Braves.
Coca-Cola. It's Coca-Cola, Tyler Perry, the Braves, and Delta.
The big four. It used to be the Falcons, but fuck them. They started to eat shit. I just think that there's power in television production, which is what I really want to get into. And that was the one thing, man, with Comedy Central that I thought was really dope, was that when I had a sitcom that got greenlit. And
about your life.
Yeah, it was loosely. It was more about, so when I was 19, I stole some jeans and I ended up on probation, right? And it was around the same time I started doing stand-up, because I thought I was going to jail. I was like, oh shit, this jail's coming and I'm going to have to fucking iron some man's jail sandals. And I had a probation officer that was super lenient in letting me travel to do stand-up.
Oh, that's nice.
Didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that I never forgot. And so criminal justice reform is kind of, that's my little, at night. Yeah. Some people quilt. I sit on websites figuring out fucking criminal justice. And so the question was, what would recidivism look like if you had probation officers that gave a fuck? Because like when you look at crime in this country, right? Crime is basically the way crime is portrayed on TV. It's cops who catch the criminal. It's lawyers debating the criminals, or it's a show about people already in jail. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 quadrants. There's few to no shows ever about what happens when people get out on the other side. The Last OG is probably the only thing most recently.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Orange is the New Black had a couple storylines of niggas that got out, but I'm talking just the dedicated story of this is what it's like for people on the other side of that. And that is also a form of law enforcement. So the show we did for Comedy Central, the pilot we did, rather, was me as a probation officer bending the rules for some of my clients to help them stay out of jail. Because in the real world, there's more people on probation than in prison. And that's where the money is if you're looking at just crime as being a conduit for making cash for a fucking city or whatever.
Right.
So you got a lot of POs that a lot of the rules of probation fuck you into basically being in violation and then going back to prison.
Right.
So, you got your car, you had to have a job within 30 days of getting out, or we're going to send you back to jail. Okay, cool. Well, the bus routes are fucked. So there's no way for me to really find a job. Okay, cool. Well, you got a car. Oh shit, the car broke down.
Mm-hmm.
But to fix the car for free, because I can't afford to fix it, I have to get the car to another county where my cousin lives who will fix it for free. But he lives outside of my probation district, so I have to get permission from my PO to travel just to get my car fixed so I can get to the fucking job you said I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Travel permit denied. That's the type of shit that happens to people. And there's no need to get in the weeds about it, but my point is, the show, that was the show. And I went to Comedy Central and I go, I think I want to shoot this back home in Birmingham. And we're looking at the numbers of shooting it in Atlanta versus Birmingham. It costs way more.
In Birmingham?
It costs
because there was
more.
no tax.
There's no
tax lien.
Yeah. Tax. There's also no infrastructure.
Right. You have to
And
bring
there's
in
no
everybody.
infrastructure because there hasn't been shit shot there at a consistent enough basis. There's movies that dabble in and out, and there's reality shows up and down the freeway in the state. But to the point of Dick Wolf and Tyler Perry, television establishes the beachhead of production in a market. And then that's why you can go in and shoot XYZ movies in a market. Marvel is not in Atlanta unless there was already TV in Atlanta.
Right.
There's no fucking way that happens unless there was 10 to 15 years of Tyler Perry doing all that shit with TBS when he had like 100, 200 episode deal at TBS.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. That's old money.
Yeah, that's that's old rich Hollywood. That's real money. Yeah.
So the idea, and I told Comedy Central this shit straight up. I was like, yo, I want to shoot the show there, and I want to hire a bunch of folks from Alabama, and we're going to fucking put on for the fucking state.
Mm-hmm.
And they said yes. There's no one else on earth
that would have done it.
That would have done it. Hey, I want to shoot a show. Hey, how you doing? I'm Roy, unproven star. Good to meet you. I'd like to shoot a show in a region that you don't know shit about and that you only portray one sort of way in media. And I know it's going to cost a little bit more and be a little bit more expensive, but trust me, the city is as important a character as, say, New Orleans or Miami is to productions that are shot there.
Thanks for coming in, Roy. We really appreciate your time.
That's it.
Yeah. it's wrapped the fuck up.
And them niggas said yes. And we went to fucking Birmingham.
When'd you shoot it?
And we shot, it was just 3 years ago. It ended up not going. We had to do a rewrite. And while we're in the middle of rewrite, COVID, merger, dead. If you're not already on the air, if you're already on the air, go to HBO Max. Mm-hmm. If you're not already on the air, fuck you. Thanks for playing.
Nice try. Come back another time.
If your name's not Aquafina, South Park, or Trevor Noah, get the fuck out of here right now. Comedy Central walked in that bitch like a motherfucker kicking people out of a house party.
Yeah.
Like,
Gone.
Y'all better get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out.
We just merged, nigga, in COVID. Bitch, we broke. We ain't got time for no scripted shit. Fuck out of here.
You think you'll revive it somewhere?
Hopefully. I think right now, though, so with that being said, knowing what I know about every other network on earth, they're not going to let me shoot in Birmingham unless I've proven myself in other creative capacities. Mm-hmm. So we sold a show to Fox with Dennis Leary, and I'm EPing something over at NBC. And, I think TV is a genre where if they trust the creator, they'll let you do whatever you want. So now I have to basically earn the trust. If we're talking scripted, I got to earn the public trust with new partners.
Totally.
So creatively prove that you can do this well. And then I go, how you doing? I'm Roy Wood Jr., proven television star.
Yeah, that's right. And they're like, we like you, Roy.
We'll go to Birmingham.
This show's a little too black, but we do like you very much, Roy.
A little black, but you know what? That's fine.
Can the lead be white? If the lead is white, then we can do the black show.
You got a deal. Then I cast you in fucking Little Dicky.
We got clapped at the other week of Donald Glover because, I guess he's barely on social media. I don't know. But people were arguing about Atlanta's is coming back again.
Yeah.
And people were arguing about our show and their show, and for no reason. It's just people starting fires and negging him and egging him on.
Because they're both shows about rappers.
Yeah, and it became this.
Therefore, they are the same.
It's so funny. It starts at a little nugget of something, and just like any YouTube algorithm or comment about anything, it like ends up as the N-word somewhere, and you're like, where did this come from? It becomes this fight all of a sudden about shit that you're like, this wasn't the intention of either
That
party.
was never the intention of the shows, and
No.
it puts the creators and the actors in between that shit. I mean, I don't know. Did y'all text each other about that?
I said to Dave, I said, you're not going to address this, I hope. And he didn't. He was like, no, because Donald was like, I see a lot of black people on here that forgot what we did. I don't know the exact quote. And he's like, and I'm the fucking sellout. Y'all are saying I'm the fucking sellout. And it was this weird thing. He's like, you know, what we did for black people and black culture, essentially is what he's saying is like, it was a revolution. You're trying to compare this Dave show to us, no disrespect, but not even close, which it was definitely disrespect. It's weird when somebody goes, no disrespect, but fuck you. But you're like, well, don't engage with the fans that are talking shit.
But do you think Donald, and I don't know the brother.
Yeah, I never
met him briefly. I know Brian Tyree.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it was from a place of talking about whether or not the two shows are cultural touchstones and what they meant to their respective communities that they were trying to represent? Because I don't know if that's a shot. I mean, I don't know, but explain to me why you thought it was a shot.
Because I think it's just like, he's so, for me, it comes down to beyond the social commentary of what Atlanta did, to have that kind of black voice on television, which was massive. And it was fucking culturally changing. There hasn't been a show like that on TV yet. That being said, he's such a success and such a proven storyteller, a proven actor, a proven, you know, feature in our business. I don't think he needs to address it. I know that's a cheap way out, but I just think when you're so successful, when somebody starts negging you about, you know, well, I think fucking Dave is a better show about the world of rap or hip hop or black culture and mental illness and mental health issues and black culture. And when you start picking apart who's doing something better, if I'm him, I'm like, I'm not even going to address it because all that's doing is giving fuel to idiots.
Yeah, I mean, you're arguing with the uneducated.
Yeah, that's right. So why do it? That's my thing.
TV critics. Yeah. So then, in that regard, then it's disrespect. That I think, as a black person, what I believe the intention was from a place of a black person saying that show is better than this, when our show was trying to shed light on the black struggling to make. There's a scene. I don't know if it's scene 1 or scene 2, but they're going to buy like a pit bull puppy or some shit or some expensive dog that they could mate and make money or whatever. And Lakeith Stanfield's character is going, yeah, we're going to buy this dog for $4,000 or $5,000 and then we're going to mate it and then we'll get money in a year. And Donald Glover's character explains to him, I'm broke now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't work for money that's coming later. Like, it's one of those moments in like black poverty where it's like, yes, motherfucker, that's exactly what the fucking thing. And I think once you already have somebody thinking that Atlanta is a show about a rapper, they're already lost in what the actual intention and
totally
of that show was.
Yeah.
In general, it's like the people who tried to make it. But black people, we do that a lot though. It was the same shit with Power and Empire when they first premiered.
People are like, those are the same shows.
Yeah. Oh, this motherfucker running some shit. He like, because there was a scene in a club in both pilots.
Right.
And he go, oh yeah, fucking
same show. Yeah.
Like, no, one's a record mogul, the other is a fucking drug dealer.
Right.
And they're two totally separate worlds, but they're both black men with powerful black women on their arms, and we just go, same show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if the disrespect is in him bringing up, him arguing with people in general, which fuels the fire.
That's what
which creates the division.
For no reason.
Which creates opponents of your show who would have actually loved your show. And I love both shows.
Yeah.
But I'm also biased because I'm in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that for what Atlanta did in speaking to the black experience in this country, especially for the poor, I think in that regard, the shows had different targets.
Of course.
They were aiming at different targets
100%.
to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that idiots on the internet don't
get.
They don't
but that's why
get.
when he engaged, I go, the nuance of what you're saying is so far over their heads that I'm like, Donald, you're better than this. You know our shows are not competing with one another. His show is fucking brilliant. Our show is goofball, weirdo bullshit. It does touch on pretty deep stuff sometimes, but the aim for his show was way different than the aim for our show. And so that's when I go, don't engage with these fucking people because they're only going to pick a side and it's not right. It just is, it's doing way more harm than good. Instead of going, I made you a fucking great show. You know I made you a great show. It has nothing to do with the other show. You can watch both shows.
All right, let's fast forward to the real shit.
Yeah.
FX Emmys party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here it is.
You look across the room and you see Lakeith and Zazie Beetz. And then from behind Zazie Beetz' amazing hairdo, emerges Donald Glover.
This is East Coast, West Coast. This is Snoop. This is Snoop getting on stage. You don't got love for Death Row? This is
You gotta go over and speak.
No, you know what? I
mean, comic to comic, because I also still view Donald Glover. Once someone has done stand up, you can do everything else, but I will always hold you and respect you and revere you because you understand everything. And I feel like stand up to stand up, you two will be fine. Yeah,
no. I would go say what's up to him regardless. I didn't take it as an attack on me. I felt bad for the idea of the whole thing, that I was like, this is a bummer because Dave, whether anybody will admit it, I know him well enough. He's an emotional dude. And I know that he didn't respond. And I know that it struck him because he really respects and loves him. So it was kind of like,
well, performer to performer, they'll connect on a different
100%. Yeah.
Maybe rapper to rapper.
Rapper to rapper, maybe. Yeah. But it's not, but it is that what you said is real though. I can see a stand-up. Who did I just saw someone.
Gets to you after a while though. You know that's where that came from with Donald. Like this motherfucker he don't bother nobody.
Yeah.
No paparazzi. This motherfucker just sits in the cut and creates his shit and goes in. And every day I'm seeing y'all online chirping about this dumb shit. I'm fucking sick of this shit. My kid is in here. I think he has a child. I don't know how old. But definitely at that, get the fuck out the room. Daddy's mad age 4 or 5. And just one day you just go, y'all need to shut the fuck up. Yeah. And then they go, oh shit, whose side you? Because that's what the internet is just all about picking sides, which is what I have to be careful of with the Daily Show. It's the same shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you get hate from doing that show? Like you'll get love, but do you get people that just start to pick fights with you because of the show? Because the show is so opinionated, political. Yeah, it's so aimed.
I can't remember what podcast I talked about this on before. It might have been Segura's, but when we did Last Comic Standing in 2010, it was like the first wave of live tweeting. Mm-hmm. So the concept of being online with strangers and reading their feedback through a hashtag.
So dangerous, bro.
Rough.
That's tough.
Rough. But it was contractually mandated by NBC.
Oh, it had to happen.
You motherfuckers, we will tape the episode at 5. When it airs at 8, all of you motherfuckers better be online, interacting with people in the hashtag, replying and retweeting to anything you see fit.
It's a nightmare.
So you just retweet positive comments about yourself. But within that thread is all of the fucking people talking shit. And it's fucking hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking hard.
It sits.
But, and that when I got to the finale. So this is like 8 weeks of this shit, bro. Every fucking Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm reading all of the worst shit about me online. But it fucking galvanized me, and now I don't care.
No, it rolls off you.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
The only spot I don't really read comments is YouTube. I can't explain it, but YouTube comments hit different. Like there's a sincerity.
They do.
It's like a New York Times review. It's
a little bit more serious than the other comments.
The Tupelo Gazette didn't like your special. Who gives a fuck? But if the Times trashed you, you'd be like,
what didn't they like?
But it's YouTube. Because YouTube is such a fucking free-for-all.
Right. It's anybody.
Anybody. Where Instagram is a certain style of person. Facebook is a certain style of person. Like Facebook, it's all political zealots in the Daily Show comments. So I don't even interact.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in there.
Do not engage.
Right.
But there's days where you definitely are like, oh, fuck, let me mute this fucking tweet. It's gonna fucking be a long day in my mentions if I say anything back. Every now and then I'll chirp back at somebody, but it's for dumb shit. It's never political. Like there's this, Lewis Hamilton just won. He had won, I think it was Brazil. And as he's crossing the finish line, there's just a big plume of fucking colorful smoke and fireworks that go off. And the smoke starts drifting onto the track. And I just made a goofy comment about like, yes, cover the track in smoke as men approach with 180 mile an hour vehicle.
Yeah.
And some asshole comes underneath. Wait till you see footage of him driving in the rain, you fucking clown. Motherfucker, I know that they can drive in shrouded visual conditions. That's the guy I go after.
Right.
Because this is just, fuck you. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. As is customary in racing, the celebratory fireworks to ensure those behind the winner drive 180 miles an hour into a smoke screen.
It is distracting as fuck.
It's just a fucking goofy joke and some shitbag underneath it just for no reason. Yeah, you're fucking stupid. I can tell you don't watch racing. But
I don't engage with that shit. I can't.
I don't engage with that. And then there's the people, you know what's interesting about scripted comedy versus late night though, is I feel like with scripted comedy, there's more open beef between creators.
Yeah.
It's more my show's not that show. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, from what I can tell, it's more often than not in scripted. You would never hear Stephen Colbert throw a shot at John Oliver.
Right.
Or Sam B go after Seth Meyers.
There'd be no reason for it.
Yeah, why is Trevor going after Fallon or some shit like that? Like it's
would be a
weird.
funny beef though. Trevor versus Fallon would be funny as shit. Well, then why? Hey, by the way, then why did Conan was that the Emmys or whatever that was getting up? You know, he's drunk, yelling on stage.
Gets on stage with Oliver.
What was that about?
It's just Conan being silly,
silly as fuck, or
something underneath that.
That's what I was saying. There was it felt like Conan having the most fun, but also Conan was saying goodbye. This was kind of a hurrah for him a little bit. It was senioritis. It was like fucking throw pennies. It was nuts. You know, he was like going off, and then a piece of me was like, I wonder if that was kind of a fuck you or not. I couldn't tell.
But you know, Oliver didn't care. John Oliver didn't care that Conan was up there. It wasn't. I don't even think anyone even asked him about it for real. Like it was such a nothing burger. But
as a comic, though, I was like, I wonder because comics. Every time you say some shit about another comic, even in jest, you're like, there's a little something.
So which brings me to the point I was about to say. So there's more open chirping in scripted. The chirping in late night, it all stays in the family.
And you're right at your table, right? Yeah, you don't give it to the other.
It's all in the same. Because if that same scenario happened, if Atlanta gets an Emmy,
and Dave runs on stage,
and Dave ran up on that stage. First off, Lakeith Stanfield would beat the shit out of Dave.
Yeah. That's it. It's over.
Lakeith would fucking choke him. He's not having. That is all the story about that.
Correct.
That night.
Right.
Whereas an unscripted, no one cares.
It's some bullshit. They're just fucking around.
No one cares.
Right.
But behind all of that, there is a serious level of competitiveness between all of the late shows.
Yeah.
That we are all trying to have the best joke. It is all in the spirit of competition.
Right.
I want to be funnier than you. And that's the comedic thing. It's all love, but when I get on stage, I'm going to try to crush and make it so you can't follow me.
Right.
Respectfully. It's out of love.
That's the job.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's a overt versus covert aspect to both of those genres of comedy. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's all love. I mean, half of these shows, if we're being honest, the late night shows, they're Jon Stewart's children.
Yeah.
You know, just stylistically, you know, and if not in front of the camera, there's a lot of people behind the camera that have all worked together. So there's still some sense of community with late night, but there's a level of competitiveness that the general public is extremely unaware of.
Right.
And we like it that way.
Yeah, you do. I was going to say, that feels a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I ended the
and Conan going on stage was kind of a little bit of a
it's
embodiment of that. Yeah,
that
it's a little bit of like, it's like I should have won, I didn't win, but I'm going to be silly about not winning, but I should have won. Let's just agree, I should have won.
That's what I saw when I saw him go up there. That's what I felt out of him, was like a little bit of like, you know who the fuck I am.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck you guys a little bit.
Fuck you guys a little.
Do my Twitter real fast. I ended this. I didn't even say this. When I saw the Donald stuff and I had texted Dave and I thought, you know what, because I don't know Donald like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the only way for me to have fun with this is to just shit on all of it. So I just wrote neither show, or go down, there's a little bit ago, but I retweeted Donald's tweet. Keep going, you'll see it. I retweeted Donald's tweet. And all I wrote was, hold on, I want you to see it because I want to see what I said exactly. There. He said, Donald Glover has a problem with comparing Little Dave to Atlanta. And there's the real thing. And just for the record, I'm watching y'all saying Dave is on par, like y'all forgot what we did. No disrespect. We got black people on here debating which is better, and I'm the sellout. And I just wrote, neither show holds a fucking candle to Nip Tuck. Just because I was like, that's the best way to just go, this is a silly argument.
Yeah.
There's no need for all this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, but black people debating on whether or not Dave is the same as a show that was trying to give the world a window into what black people are going through. There's a ridiculousness in that.
Yeah.
That I agree with Donald on.
Yeah, I do too. I understand what he was saying.
Creatively, what is the best way to address that?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
I was like, I just needed to get away from all the, I was like, because people were tagging us. Like, Woody, he's going to get, I was like, no, man.
Yeah.
He's just making his own point. That's why I had to, so I picked the other FX show that I've never seen before that I was like, this Nip Tuck, man, that's the fucking.
The Shield is still the best.
Is it? I've never watched it.
It's in my top 4, bro.
Is it of all time?
Of all time. Shield's better than The Sopranos, but it got caught in Tony Soprano's wake, so nobody really gives it the love. Michael Chiklis was a way better anti-hero, in my opinion, than Tony Soprano.
You think so, huh?
I respect The Shield.
But Chiklis is great.
So much of that show is trickling into other shows of its ilk during that era. But the idea of dirty cop for good reason that eventually becomes swallowed by his own bad choices.
Right.
Like,
it's a great story.
It's one that is it's almost before its time in a way, where The Shield had come out like on the other side of The Sopranos, on the other side of Breaking Bad, then everybody would be putting it in the same canon. But it's one of the boxes. I've watched that series in its entirety like 3-4 times, dog.
Shut up. How many seasons was The Shield?
7.
God damn.
Glenn Close was in that bitch. Forrest Whitaker was in that bitch. Look at that right there. You scroll down, you see him. They got Vic Mackey and Walter White side by side. Because you go down a little more. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the idea. The Shield is also one of the few series. It's one of the few drama series, in my opinion, where the pilot and the finale connect to be one perfect 2-hour film if you wanted to watch them just together. Everything that happens in between those 2 moments is driven from the pilot. And that's fucking wild.
That is wild as shit. How are you going to make me watch The Shield?
Like, there's A and B stories throughout there's runners for every season, but ultimately everything that's happening in the A story is because of the shit that happened in the pilot and figuring out ways to get around that. Some of the B story, like, it's just, it's good. There's a season where Anthony Anderson, if you ever get Anthony Anderson on his podcast, you should ask him this story. Anthony Anderson plays a villain in one season, and it is the most amazing, brilliant, dramatic work I've ever watched him. Like, I study that scene because, you know, like you like when you're if your career is a baseball path, right? And you're on first base and you're looking to see who's on second and third. Anthony Anderson is like round there on third base, and I'm going, I don't know if I'm the best, but I feel like if I start with what he's done, maybe I can. So what is he doing? How does he? And you start looking at the choices he made comedically in the early aughts, and then start shifting to drama. He did Law and Order after this, and this is all pre-Blackish. He was so fucking dark. And this is like 2 years after Kangaroo Jack, dog. He's fucking murderous villain gangster man.
Yeah.
And his arc in that season was fucking magical. And it takes him to tell the story of leaving during lunch to go audition for Scorsese for The Departed and making it back to set on time.
To go back to shoot
To go back to be dark, evil motherfucker.
God damn.
It's his story to tell. But just that show brought so much out of so many actors that you wouldn't have expected. And
well, that's
like, it's just what I'm saying is you should have said The Shield instead of Nip Tuck.
If I go back, can I edit that tweet? Will you edit
if you
for
pay
me right now?
Twitter $3, you can become a Twitter, whatever blue, whatever that shit is.
Yeah.
You can be a Twitter member now. But yeah, that show, The Sopranos, The Wire, and Breaking Bad, those are the four.
That's your top shit.
Those are my top four.
Now I have to watch The Shield.
You know,
now I really have to now I have to actually invest in this now.
Sitcoms are hard though. Who said that sitcoms age like fruit?
I don't know. That's so good though.
Like comedy just ages like fruit. So it's like everything you thought was hilarious, and you go back and watch it 20 years later, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I should have. Oh, that was fresh. It was so good. Like there was someone who broke down the sitcom Martin and just why he was just so terrible to Gina and not marrying. And I can't remember all of the bullet points this woman made, but it was such a strong argument for why Martin Payne was just such a terrible friend.
Bad dad, a bad friend.
Yeah,
he was like all the layers.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Bruh, man from the 5th floor was the only redeemable person. I mean, there's even a couple of Seinfeld episodes that you're like, okay, that episode would have gotten some notes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
But yeah, it just sucks that viewership has become this fandom loyalist culture, but that's also a byproduct of branding on our side, where we make people loyal to us. And so now if you don't like the thing, it's like the way they attack columnists if they give an artist a bad review or some shit. Like, how dare you, motherfucker, you're just stupid and you're not a good critic. And it's like, just go enjoy the thing. They already got their money.
Right.
It's not like a bad review. They're going to come back and take a pinch off your advance.
Right.
Because someone didn't fucking like your shit. But yeah, that's just what you're beholden to. You know, the thing that's really weird though with The Daily Show is it's not the people who hate us. It's the people who love us almost like left zealots, where you guys have got to talk about this thing. And then we don't talk about it because they don't understand that there's only 30 minutes in the fucking show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't get to that thing that you hold important, and now I'm a bad person.
Right.
So then you get, like, I get more, let me think before I say it. I'd say it's neck and neck, or maybe it's 60-40, but I would say I get some criticism. I get a lot of criticism from people on the left, where it's you didn't
more
go
than
deep
the right.
enough. You didn't go deep enough.
Right.
And it's all because you give a fuck. I understand that. But I put it this way. Their DMs are longer.
Liberals write longer DMs.
Yeah.
Republicans write shit that's just like,
shut up.
Tell me what to do, black ass.
Yeah, fuck you, stupid. Fake news. Where liberals, I really appreciate what you attempted to do in that conversation, but what you really should have done is focus on that other issue. I'm like, okay, great. Now find me 3 jokes in that sad shit you just pitched. Because at the end of the day, there still has to be a joke.
Right. It still has to be funny.
Yeah, somewhere in there has to be a joke. Oh, now this I did talk about on Segura's podcast. When I took over for Ari on This Is Not Happening on Comedy Central, I was getting like shitty DMs from some of his fans.
I was just saying like, you
stole a show and shit like that. But me and Ari, now you want to talk about a comic to comic conversation. I called him before I even said yes to that. And he's like, if you don't do it, they might cancel it. And then there's like 50 people that are going to lose TV appearances.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't even getting to crew yet. We're just talking
comic.
The bulk of comics we shot, and a lot of them, especially a lot of people that Ari books, They don't get the rep. They're not getting Conan
No.
4 years in a row.
No.
So this is important. So it's like, fine, I'll do it. And whatever comes on the other side of it, fine. I did Last Comic Standing. I can handle I can handle your fans. But they were coming in, even that shit was short.
Yeah.
It was still shorter than a liberal DM. Like it wasn't like and they never got racist too. That was the other thing I told Ari when I saw him, a couple years later. I was like, you see your fans, man. Tell them thanks, man. Tell them thanks for not going there. They were just like, they were just about the integrity of the show.
That's all they cared about.
That's all they cared
That's great.
about. It wasn't racist at all. It was just 100%. We don't think you're right for the show. Hey, man, neither do I. But
Ditto.
Ari said I got to do it.
I didn't have a choice, man. They made me.
Something like that.
I think you still did a good job. How about that?
It was fun, man.
I think
it really was fun. Now that's one thing I do hope Comedy Central brings back. If not, Ari will figure out a way to put it up somewhere else. It's a great style of performance that doesn't get its due.
Doesn't exist really. I mean, unless you're a storyteller comic and you get to do your own shit all the time. Someone like Segura, you know what I mean, who does do stories, or Bert, those guys. Yeah. Unless you have that as your literal outlet of stand-up. Most stand-ups have a great story that they're like, I don't know where to put it. I don't even know how to say it. Or
this doesn't fit in this.
Where to go with it, right?
Whatever.
By the way, are you touring or no? Are you going to go? Are you out?
No, I'm on the bench, bro. I just burned a whole hour.
Yeah, you got to work.
I got a couple of COVID makeup dates between now and February. DC, Madison, Baltimore, and Tampa. That's all I got right now.
And then you're good for a while.
Oh, Montana, which that one I'm nervous about because that's where I got the death threat. The one death threat I've ever gotten from a Daily Show piece came from Montana. Dude, Montana.
So that is where they come from.
Yeah, it was creepy too because he mailed me a Bible, and in the Bible he had highlighted all of these different verses of just wrath and ass whoopings, just all the ass whooping.
He was slain down in the town square. Stones were thrown at his head.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah. And he had the tabs like a tax form. He had
sign here, sign here.
He opened it. So he wanted me to see, this is the page, nigga. Look at this page. And then in the last page of the Bible, he wrote, "Thank you for coming to Montana. I forgive you for what you did to us."
Jesus.
So it's like forgiveness, but a
threat. Yeah. Well, when are you going?
I'm not telling you on this podcast.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I want you to get clipped out there.
Nah, I'm going to just do the show and go right back to the airport.
Yeah, you need some fucking security.
No bullshit. I might just go right back to the airport.
Yeah.
But that's a comic's mindset. What? Return to the city where I got a death threat? How much?
Pay me.
Get a fucking price.
If the check is there. All right, look, I love you. I appreciate you coming on the show. We end the show the same way every time. Look into that camera right there, into your camera. And we end the show with one word or one phrase. That's going to end the show on you whenever you want. One word or one phrase.
The greatest gift you can give another person is the gift of a second chance. These are the words of Roy Wood Jr.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk,